Alright, let's do this. Are we live? We are live. Hello, comrades, and welcome back to another episode of Under Construction. Or is it? So, Under Construction is the name of the show, has been for a long time, but I realize that it's not very descriptive and it's not very exciting. So I figured I would start using what it says in the thumbnails, which is the Tolbrynd Peninsula project. And of course, this makes me go, well, I really should have changed that name because I stole Tolbrynd from Besiege. But, you know, we are where we are with the name of the route and the construction of the route. Of course, we're starting with not Tetris because that's what we do around here. But, you know, I figured I would put the title in because I've been noticing some interesting algorithm stuff around the YouTubes, which is to say, I've been seeing, like, recommended videos and things that have only a handful of views. And I'm thinking, either I fully broke the algorithm, or the algorithm is doing something for schmucks like me, who don't have a lot of, you know, weekly views and viewers. So, you know. Oh, shoot, there it goes. There goes everything. You know, and I want people to not be clickbaited in, but I want people to know what they're getting into. There's no such thing as the algorithm, says Redding. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it could just be 100 monkeys on computers. That is what the bananas are for, after all. So, you know, again, I want people to know what they're getting into here. I think the algorithm is trying to reward you for streaming consistently. I would love to think so. I've been trying to do that. I haven't really been succeeding too much, and it's only going to get worse because we got the Super Bowl coming up this weekend, so we're not going to have a podcast this weekend. But at least I'm back to doing this on Thursdays, or at least attempting to, right? And you know, I'm doing the podcast every Sunday now, which is a breakthrough because it means we can actually get through like a significant chunk of the news that comes through in a given episode. And while I do feel like there are things missing out of the old format, I do think the podcast is in a better place than it was a year ago. I'm not sure I've ever... The Terminus podcast watched the Super Bowl, but you only occasionally hear ouch or cheering. Yeah, we just get... It's the Super Bowl, but we only get, like, one dude's helmet mic. And that's it. It's a little bit of an animal. Oh, man, I started laughing about that again. Pepperami. How much dirt do you think people could find on you by watching the literal thousands of hours of content? Oh, too much. I try not to think about it, really. I know, you know, I would not be the only person, even in my, like, immediate friend group, to clean out their YouTube channel, recently, you know, or, you know, if I decided to do that. I'm not going to, because there's not much that I'm, like, proper embarrassed about. There's stuff that I'm embarrassed because I was 12. But I've never, like, even the stuff that is on the community channel, which used to be the Admiral Ellis channel, well, this is now the Admiral Ellis channel, but even the stuff that is there is just, like, in playlists, and sure, I'm never going to go back and look at it, but I don't think it's doing any harm by sitting there. I mean, it's certainly doing some kind of harm to my, like, security. People could definitely find out things, you know, not, like, to take me down, I don't think, but to definitely, like, something. Throw a brick through my window. Not that I would blame you. Okay, this can go here. I never finished the Iron Horseman route. Straight to jail. Okay, we're kind of in trouble here. Oh, shoot, that should have gone all the way to the right. Okay, well, that worked out. How much of IHR could we find out? Probably not too much more than is in the public archive now. That's that was half the reason for releasing it, so that I didn't have to worry about being the sole, like, it's all in my brain, right? Like, because for all those for all those years that I did the zombie train, and I would do one question a week, those just came straight out of my brain. They were never written down. YouTube is the only place that there's any evidence of any of that, uh, which isn't really a bad place for that to be the case. But it's not really helpful if you wanted to, like, properly put together, like, if you wanted to make the Zombie Train TV show. Not that anyone would, um, but uh, you would have to watch thousands of hours of content to get the tidbits to, like, do everything right. Otherwise, the super fans yell at you. Like, I was reading Fallout show lore before I started this, and eating a salad. Which, shout out to the existence of salads, by the way. Just, it filled me up, and it probably was more healthy than me having a pizza. Even though I did douse it in dressing, I know that doesn't help. But yeah, I did used to talk about the Blount saga at Steamtown a lot. That's one of those things that, it's like, if the perfect storm hits and we have the ability to make uh like Iron Horseman Chronicles-esque stuff again, it's gonna be Saturdays at Steamtown, and it's gonna be all about what Blount is up to at Steamtown. Um, because that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of fun stories. It's another, like, ensemble cast like the Iron Horseman Chronicles, and we've spent an awful lot of time doing background for it, mostly just for kicks. Part of it has been, and I have to credit Casey with most of the legwork on this, the creation of the spreadsheet of all of the Steamtown, every locomotive that's ever been owned by F. Nelson Blount, in part or in full. Something about, they think there was a 280 from the mob that had ties with Lee. It was an 060. It's Lavino number 3. And yeah, he's a pain in the neck. Okay. Also, congrats, Virgo, on joining the Union Model Railroad Club. Yes, it is nice to have a permanent layout. Okay, we're not gonna just play Tetris the whole time. I am going to drop the link in the one other place that I have to drop it, which is the Trainz official server, which has another one of our excellent thumbnails. Excuse me. I guess I'm having, like, salad burps. Okay, let me fix my screen a little bit because the chat is way off to the side. There we go. Watching the Zombie Train episode 1. That's, what a throwback. Okay. Okay, I need to think about where we are and what we were doing, because we've got triangles, right? We've got stuff that we were working on. We were working on the university last time. For whatever reason, last week, I was very much in the headspace of, like, I could sit down, buckle down, get stuff done on this. And this week, I come into it, and, like, my head is full of soup, and I don't really know what I should be doing now. I mean, I guess I should paint the ground green here. So that's something. Are these? No, these aren't the ones with the garage doors in the back. Because I was going to say, then that's very wrong. Listen, I appreciate it when people are here longer than they care to admit. I've been doing this longer than I care to admit, and you can look it up. It's been a long damn time. And I don't just mean Tolbrynd, but it has been a long time since we started this. I mean, this is what, 8 years old now? 7 or 8 years old? I don't know when it's going to be done. I don't know when I am going to, it's just going to be a thing that I do every Thursday from now until the end of time. Maybe it'll be done in, the year 220, like, or 17776. Sorry, that stuff has been on my mind again. Considering it's 8 years, do you have, like, I'd argue 1/3 of it done? No. No, it's not even close. I don't, should I pull up the map? Do I pull up the map? This is like maybe it can't even be 10%. There's no way it's even 10% is the thing. Uh, and I know the map has not been updated for a while, but I can pull it up and we can see what my future looks like. Like we've joked in the past about how I'm gonna have to hand this off to my grandchildren, and that's probably not a thing that will happen, but a thing that would not be surprising. I think I updated it in 2022. Yeah, and the thing is, I haven't added more baseboards since then, really. So that's why I haven't bothered to update it. Oh shoot! Hold shift when removing splines, otherwise they connect to one another. You know what's amazing? You know what's amazing? I don't. Is there any way you could try to include the NS Fort Wayne Bridge somewhere because it's big and cool? I, is that a thing that's on the DLS? Um, if that's a thing that's on the DLS, then sure, why the hell not? But I have no idea. I don't think. I think if you showed me a picture of it, I wouldn't know what it is. I would probably say that's a cool bridge. I might say I do like that bridge. Um, Let me get the driveways in and then I'll pull out the map. I don't really want to take a detour this quickly. There's already too many detours that I can take because of everything else, because of the open TTD server, because of today is the 10th anniversary of the release of XCOM 2, and that game is calling my name in the worst way. Uh, okay, QID 884457. Hold on, let me see if I can get this. Um, uh, Fort Wayne Bridge. Let's just go to download station, on download station. If I punch in Fort Wayne, it's the giant steel train bridge in Pittsburgh. That really, I'm not sure, narrows it down all that much. I mean, for to original. Okay. Pittsburgh is a very bridgeful place. Not Fort. Fort Wayne Bridge. Oh, that's a pretty sick bridge. Okay, so we've got... Wow, this is like... Not a lot of polygons. I like how when you look at it straight on, it disappears. It's like the two-dimensional dude from Super Smash Brothers. It's like, I know I've seen that bridge. I know I've seen it. Could I pick it out of a lineup? I don't know. I mean, I guess I could now, but, if you sat me down 20 minutes ago and put me in front of a lineup of bridges and said, like, the Fort Wayne Bridge is the mugger, you need to pick it out. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna, can you have a swing bridge that also lifts to enter the bromine plant? Swing bridge that also lifts. No. I don't think I can. I could sure try, if we were playing with Lego. But no, I sadly do not think that that is a thing that I can provide. I apologize. Although, there is... Oh, shoot. I'm going to need to find it now. Okay, that's going to be detour number 2. We're already up to 2 detours once I'm done with this. Detour number 1 is we're going to go and look at the map. Detour number 2 is I'm going to see if I can find this bridge that was on the Boston Revere Beach in Lynn that swung horizontally and not in the way that you think. Like, the pivot point was on the corner of the bridge. Imagine a cable stay bridge, but the bridge deck can rotate around the corner. Yeah, something like that. Oh, this is hovering. TJ, if you're still there, if you remember what the hell I'm talking about, if you want to drop that in the thread, that'd be great. I remember we were talking about it when we were on our way up to wherever the heck we got off the train and met you, where there was the pizza place last time we went to Maine. The name escapes me though, of where we were going, and oh, it was Newburyport, wasn't it? Well, it was a Newburyport Rockport line. Must have been. Maybe it was Rockport. Maybe it was Newburyport. Maybe it was one of those places. Who knows? Um. Anyway. Okay. What are we gonna do here? BRBNL was a 3-foot gauge line. Yes. Yes, they were. They were, as far as anyone has been able to tell, the only 3-foot gauge line in the state with interlockings and slip switches and like a proper signaling system, which has presented a very reasonable amount of leverage to use on Studio 346 to get fun railroad stuff into the game. Um, yeah, if you if you look them up, you can see some of their infrastructure, and like they were a 3-foot gauge railroad that had no real need to be a 3-foot gauge railroad. I mean, they had a reason for being that. I mean, they existed in some relatively tight quarters in East Boston, but by and large, they didn't like live and die by the fact that they were 3-foot gauge. They could have existed as a standard gauge railroad, or even something else. Does anything from them track and roadbed wise still exist? Yes, asterisk. Well, in fact, the tunnel portals right near their terminal, so the very south end of their line, that those still exist. They're like behind a building, and you can get in there if you really try, I guess. I've never been to, I've never tried. But they've got tunnel portals and stuff like that. They don't have any track left, but they do have roadbed in the form of the MBTA's Blue Line, and a couple of other areas that are sort of adjacent to the Blue Line, if I remember right. The Blue Line runs over top of a portion of their right-of-way once you get like north of the airport. So there is actually significant amounts of stuff from the BRBNL left. The other thing that's left from the BRBNL is coaches. If I remember right, at least one coach of the Boston River Beach and Linz ended up at the East Broad Top, where it remains, I believe. I'm not certain, but if I remember my 3-foot gauge history right, that's where it is. One of these days, I'd love to check it out as well. It was the kind of thing where I think last year, I remember some folks were kicking around going to visit it after the Big E for Studio 346 related reasons. Alright, this can go here. Coach 5 with the one with the roller bearings or Combine 14? I'm going to guess Coach 5. I don't think the Boston River Beach and Lynn really ever had a use for combines because they were a commuter railroad. Like, straight up, they were a commuter railroad. Their sole purpose was to bring commuters into Boston. They really didn't have any use for, sort of common carrier activities like mail. They really didn't need baggage. They didn't need to transport baggage. They didn't really do any freight. As far as I know, I've never seen a BRBNL freight train. The fact of the matter is, all of that stuff could be handled by the standard gauge railroads that were right next door. What's up, baby?
What's the first aid kit?
It is... Why?
Since it slipped in the driveway and cut his hand.
That counts.
That count. He is bleeding.
That counts.
He is bleeding.
It is... I don't know, look around. I took it out for somebody. I took it out for Marine. So check the living room. It's much more fun to learn this from you than from Google. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad that I can be entertainment. But know that it is edutainment at best, because this is me like recalling the thing that I learned from Google, which was probably like a train orders post that's half correct anyway. So I'm like 3 tiers down the supply chain of BS. Uh, this is this is exactly like, I'm not gonna say that I'm worse than ChatGPT, um, but I would say that I definitely wouldn't like carry this information into Who Wants to Be a Millionaire without at least looking it up first. Um, and this is why I do a lot of I think, I've heard, I suppose, I guess, I imagine. I've noticed it's sort of a verbal tick for myself to say, uh, yeah, that's true. I'm not using like an entire. Damn it, Mossy, you beat me to the joke. I was about to say that. Um, um, okay. What I was saying was, what the hell was I saying? This is the side of memory loss that Northern just mentioned. Whatever. The point is, oh right, I tend to caveat like everything I say, uh, whether it be just like a like, or a I suppose, I imagine, I guess, I've heard, I think, um, and I'd like to think that that helps terse situations of disagreements go over more smoothly, because it helps people find common ground and makes you come off a little less brusque. Um, if we get them to drink enough, we could change that. Drink enough water, I hope. Um, I hope you mean water. I'm almost out of water actually, which is a shame. I'm gonna run out of water, and then I'm gonna run out of voice because of the lack of humidity in the air. Because despite the fact that I own a humidifier, you would like to give me some water. Hold on, it's not. Thank you. Um, I own a humidifier. I've not bothered to set it up. If you drink enough bromine, you'll be breenified like me. Redding, you're over there creating some kind of lore, and I don't know if I want to canonize any of it. It's concerning. Don't drink bromine. Hello, Hot Rail. Uh, Somebody wants to drink bromine, and then you become breenified. Apparently, this is not. This is not advice.
No.
This is not anyone's advice.
Water, husband?
Water. Um. Okay. Uh. It's not. I don't. Don't do that. Yeah. I suppose you can drink it once. You can drink anything once. Um. Okay. Okay. I need to do this road right here. Okay. Okay. You can do anything once. It's the second time that truly matters. Very true. Um. Yeah. Everything you can. There's a lethal dose of everything. There's a lethal and a non-lethal dose of everything. I mean, uh, there's not. It's difficult to have like a non-lethal dose of being on the surface of the sun, or like a non-lethal dose of getting hit by a nuke. But I'm sure we could, with the miracles of modern science, um, you still have the semi-correct info about niche stuff in the East Coast, and that's really cool to me. I like asking you questions because you answer them very clearly and simply. Well, thank you. That's a huge compliment, because just earlier today, I was positing and I was thinking about how I can never finish a goddamn thought on this show. And that's not a complaint, it's just sort of an acknowledgement of my situation and the way that I be sometimes, which is the extraordinary powers of ADHD to take whatever the next person says in the chat and just instantly run with that. Um, so yeah, I I just sorry, I got distracted. See, there it is again. Nobody even said anything that time. Okay, I need to figure out how to do this fence though. I can never finish a thought. It just I don't know, something else supersedes it. Some other story. Like I had a whole thing thought about when I was mentioned salad earlier, and it was going to be this whole little diatribe about how some people really hate salad. You know, like people who have adopted the Ron Swanson personality, but without the good parts of it. Somebody just somebody just fell over in my house. I hope they're okay. Um, uh, that was a loud sound. Um, is so. Do we think this garage belongs to this house, or do we think you know what? This is a whole plot. This is the plot. It's staying the way that it is. Um, yeah, I'm better than ChatGPT. I'm clearing that bar, and I'm better than Grok too because I don't have any association with Little St. James Island. Uh, so I'm gonna this is this is a lot of effort in here. Uh, this is a lot of effort in here to do all these fences and things. Uh, and honestly, I don't care that much. So it's just gonna be green grass at the bottom. Maybe there's like one person's lawn I will do with a different grass. Maybe this person with the in-law suite with the second house on the same plot of land. It's actually not a terrible grass texture, but it reminds me of Trainz 2006. Um, it absolutely it it's it reminds me of the Hawes Junction route. Like this is what the grass looked like on that route. It's almost too high definition. It looks like it's trying to pop out of the ground. I also would love to do some other kind of grass for this here, if I can make it not look terrible. Yeah, let's do this for the college campus because it'll set it apart. It'll make it a little bit distinctive, especially because we're using like Eastern European styled buildings. Uh, we're using Eastern European style buildings here, which means that I have to add like the Eastern European flair, which means that everything needs to look slightly irradiated. Um, I don't know. It's sort of like the Mexico filter, where anytime any scene gets shot in Mexico and you know and they have to show it without telling it, they just sort of make everything kind of orange. This is like the anything shot in like Soviet Union slash former Soviet Union territories has to have the sheen of like, oh, everything here's kind of sad. Uh, you know, and you know what really got me with that? It's a color palette choice. In no small part, the color palette choice is very evident in the movie Atomic Blonde, which is a movie that I brought up before because I love how like visceral the fight scenes are in that movie, and I'm not really a fight scene aficionado, but somebody once pointed out to me like this movie is good because the protagonist doesn't get beat the hell up and then like brushes it off and move on to the next thing. Like our introduction to the main character is her taking an ice bath and she's all bruised all over. It's crazy. Um, and I hadn't recognized it, but I would like to think that I bore witness to it and went, "Oh wow, like that." Like subconsciously thought that's really good. Like it's clear to me that this person is suffering from doing this pain in the butt job of being a spy, being like a triple agent or whatever the hell. Because there's a twist at the end, sort of. Because of course there is. Honestly, if you haven't seen Atomic Blonde, it's not really huge spoilers. But I'm probably not going to say it anyway. If you have seen Atomic Blonde, the reveal at the end is like, okay, why did they have to do that? Like, it seems a little indulgent, right? Like, they could have just gone with what the thing is alluding to, or like the explicit, like she's an American, she's a British agent or whatever, um, and like why? It just seems so. Okay, I'm gonna spoil the twist. If you don't want the spoiler, it's skip ahead like 10 seconds. She's an American spy. She's an American spy posing as a British spy, um, or some crap like that. Uh, and it made me think of like I've never made this direct comparison before, but I remember feeling like that's cheap. It made me think of, or it is similar to U-571, which is a cool war movie, but it's like Stolen Valor. Uh, it's it's oh we wanted to make a movie about stealing the Enigma code, and the real life wasn't dramatic enough for some reason. So instead, we made up that the Americans did it, and we made it even more insane. Um, I own a copy of U-571. I haven't watched it since I was a little kid. Uh, and I remember, uh, I will do the trees later. Uh, I remember watching that movie because I remember like one specific line, which is something along the lines of, "I am U-571, come kill me." And it's like the German guy broadcasting to see if he can get other German, just get anyone to come and blow the sub up, basically. And like, I don't think it's a bad movie. Like, I'm not of the opinion that it is a bad movie. I am of the opinion that it's a completely unnecessary telling of the story. Uh, because you could have just gone with the real life one. Now, I'm not here to be a yum yucker. If you like U-571, it definitely has its merits. It's not, again, it's not so much, I'm not so much dunking on the movie as I am confounded by the creators of such a movie who felt that they needed to make it an American story. Um, if you've seen it and you know the real story, you know what I'm talking about. If not, it was the British who got the Enigma code from the submarine, sort of something like that. These are the half truths that I'm telling. The point is, it's not an accurate representation of what happened at all. It's not even inaccurate in the way that some war movies are inaccurate, where it's like, oh, they bent the truth to hype it up, or they just sort of went for the simple option. There are things like that in all the war movies, some worse than others. This is just like, now we made it up. um, but that's my gripe on a hopefully mostly forgotten submarine film. The French ship was based off Old Ironsides, but they didn't want the Americans to be the bad guys, so they sold it to the French. Yeah, there's that. Uh, that's that's another one. It's like, okay, but you could have had the historical context of the Americans and the British being at odds, uh, and it would have been like, it wouldn't have taken away from the movie. Uh, it's just we're doing it for an American audience, so we want to make sure it's the Americans that are the good guys or whatever. Uh, Otherwise, the Americans might not go see it. Oh man, it's a good thing they didn't do that with some other movies. I'm trying to think of like, imagine if they had somehow like found a way to inject Americans into Dunkirk. And excuse me if I'm forgetting some aspect of it, but it's a British movie about British people. I mean, it's not a British movie, but it's it's a movie about a situation between the British, French, and Germans, and nobody else. Um, well, maybe there were some other Axis troops there, but not important. Um, okay, okay. I'm just doing more of this. Give them another rewrite. There's no door in the back of this building. There's a cool door in the front. Well, this is kind of funny. You think they would have at least had two separate. This this is something I would not be doing in Minecraft. I'll tell you that much. I would have two sets of doors at least. Um. Okay. I need to let the students walk around a while, and then put in some paths for them. Now, okay, let's do. Can I perchance nabs the QID for the square brick building with the bell tower over yonder? Which one? This one. This one? This is two buildings stuck together, for the record. Yeah, there's the QID. 439, 337, 118, 395. Oh, shoot. Hey, somebody tell me if we start getting the ASMR background again, because this is still there. Oh, shoot. Oh, no, it's muted now. Wait, is it really? I guess it is now. Oh, that's... Oh, because it's not the stream that it was before. It's the Terminus stream. I mean, I can always keep this there. If you guys need some Subway servers at the bottom, let me know. Yeah, this one, and then this is the back end College Hall one. Give it to ASMR trains. Oh god, I'm gonna have to. Are there ASMR trains? Oh, I didn't do any of the detours yet. Oh, I just started working on the college again. The institution of higher learning is calling me. I mean, that can't be a bad thing, right? I mean, I've been more closely associated with my alma mater in the last month than I have been for years because of all the NEB&W stuff at the Big E. And of course, we cannot forget the NEB&W car that's right there in the middle of the row. There is the boxcar. Okay. I need to line this building up with the walkway here. Map is cool. College smells. That's why I like spend my life savings on it. Yeah. I feel that way when. Oh shoot, that's 3 buildings. I forgot. I feel that way when they call me to ask me for more money. And I have the John Mulaney moment of, you spent it already? Extremely valid response. There are ASMR train videos. You know what? Do I get, like... Would it make everyone happy if I got something in the background that was that was like like the equivalent of the Starship Enterprise engines idling background sound for 24 hours for for this? Would that make people happier? I'm gonna have to make a second oh, excuse me, I'm gonna have to make a second thing. You mean as a crackhead cousin, but instead of crack it's demolishing historical buildings. That's sad. Somewhere around here, somewhere around the internet, is the Reddit post where I showed off the historical building at RPI that I built in Minecraft. Okay, if you want to listen to ASMR, use an NS SD40-2 idling in Trainz 12. Well, I don't think I'm gonna pull up another instance of Trainz. Sorry, not Trainz 12. Trainz 2022. That would probably be bad for the computer, and thereby bad for the stream. So I don't think I will be doing that. However, it's a thought I could use just a simulated one. Apply height. No, not apply height. Wrong button. Smooth ground under selected. There it is. You can hear the computer fans from here. Yeah, that's not the ASMR I'm trying to make. Okay. Okay. This can go insert spline point there, because we're gonna make a hole in the wall. Show me the hole in the wall. And there. Oh shoot. Yeah, I mean I could just play the engine idling sound. Well, where's the fun in that? There's always something idling in Connecticut, apparently. Okay, well, we're we got something going on. Where's what is it? New Haven Rail Cam. Where is it? No, no, not New Haven. Springfield. Springfield, Massachusetts.
For Moses to hand
No, I
tools.
don't need that. Thank you, Granger ad. Oh, there. It is. It is. It's idling. You guys can probably hear it already. Hold on. Let's get it on the. Let's get it on the thing. Um, properties. Nope. There we go. Let's actually interact and lower the volume. There we go. Now it's still a little loud. Interact, lower the volume more. I don't need to hear it, is the thing. I don't need to hear it. Yeah, there we go. Tell me if that's too loud. Okay. Oh, should I also? Oh, I already did put it on the screen. Thank you, Virtual Railfan, for keeping people engaged with my stream. Oh God, I'm doing it. I'm buying into the TikTok, uh, for real. Actually, I'm doing it unironically. That's a problem. I just wanted ASMR train sounds in the back of my stream. I used to do music. Those of you that have been around for a long time may remember when I used to use the no copyright sounds live streams, but I stopped using them because they're a lie, and I would constantly get hit with the copyright. Like they'd whack my PP and say, sorry, you can't monetize this video, and then I wouldn't get the 35 cents over the next 10 years that I was supposed to get. Um, get the royalty free. Yeah, exactly. No, I can't do it. It doesn't work. The algorithm is too, you know, uh, the algorithm is too sensitive, or people make too many claims or something, because it just doesn't work. I'm always getting. I mean, it's not a copyright strike per se, but it's certainly a deal breaker when I'm getting the, oh, sorry, this video is going to be monetization limited because blah 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 blah. And it's like, but I used the stream that said I could do this. So, you know, maybe they don't vet their stuff enough. Maybe YouTube has a problem. I tend to try not to like go toe to toe with the monetization system, because I have the luxury of not doing that, because I'm not doing this for a living. I'm doing this for entertainment, my own entertainment, notably. Um, and you know what's funny? There are, certain artists and things that will gladly make music that you can just use. Um, I would just have to sort of pay attention to that and set that up and all that jazz. Like I could use Wintergatan's music in theory, I think, without it getting flagged, as long as I credit them, and also with Lemino's music, which is honestly great background for this kind of thing. Um, but I still don't trust it. I don't trust it. I don't expect that I would get off scot free. You know, I expect I would end up in trouble. Not like trouble, but at least enough to be annoying. Okay, straight and splint. Oh shoot! It's Thursday night. Oh my god! This week snuck up on me. Hold on, I have to do something very important. Uh, oh, and I have pings all over the gaff. Um, oh no. Uh, hold on. Sorry, I'm just like clearing out all my pings here. We're gonna go on an adventure, but there's something I need to do. Does anyone else know what the heck that I was supposed to do yesterday or earlier today or whenever the hell? Uh, I swear I look away for fun. I get complacent because other people keep beating me to the punch. I didn't make a community playdate poll. So I'm doing it now. Uh, so this is a community playdate nomination poll. Uh, shoot, my bad. Please go nominate and vote for your community playdate shenanigans. Pay my mortgage. Yeah, no. Thankfully, I put everything on autopay because I would forget. This is why I don't use credit cards, by the way. Because the one time I've tried to use the credit card that has my name on it, I've forgotten to pay it. I need to have steady payments for stuff, or it just needs to come out of my, uh, it needs to come out of my bank account instantly. Um, I was tempted to use like the PayPal Pay in 4 for something, just sort of to see, because I needed a thing, but I didn't feel like dumping all the money into it right that second. Um, and I realized that I can probably set up automatic payments for my credit card. But I don't care that much. I would rather just use my debit card. Um, and thankfully, my bank is pretty on the ball with letting me know if there is fraud. I stopped at a gas station in, I think it must have been Pennsylvania, on the way to see the Cleveland Browns. Um, and I stopped there and I got like a snack, uh, as one does at a gas station, and swipe my card, blah blah blah, and then because the chip sometimes doesn't work on that card, even though it's a brand new card, um, kind of sucks, but whatever. Swipe my card or use the chip. I honestly can't recall. And then I get to the parking lot, sit down in the car, and get a phone call, and like someone tried to use my card at a Japanese travel agency. And I went, yeah, that doesn't seem like me. And what's funny is I kept caveating, as I do, like, no, I don't think so. No, I don't think that's me. That doesn't seem like me. I don't think that's the thing I would do. I kept saying crap like that, and the dude on the other end of the line was getting so frustrated with me because he needed a yes or no answer. He needed me to say, like, that is not my purchase. And I didn't quite get it until, like, the third time we went around in a circle. Um, and I, because I was giving too much of the benefit of the doubt, I guess. I wasn't really. I knew it wasn't mine, but it's just not the way I talk. I'm gonna get myself in trouble one of these days. Okay. Alright, straighten spline. Straighten spline. Spline is straightened. We did some intersections. We're going to take a couple of little detours. I know everyone has been waiting on the edge of their seat. I'm gonna go get the map. I said seat singular. Seats plural. Okay. Everyone is sharing one big seat. Okay. Tolbrynd map. Tolbrynd map. Where is the one? This one. The most recent one. And I'm going to make sure that I'm not clicked onto anything embarrassing anywhere. I don't know. I'm paranoid about that. Okay. Screen goes... Nope. Screen goes here. So this is how much, again, I haven't added any baseboards. Like, this is all filled in now, right? Like, this is all textured. It's textured all the way up to about here, all the way back to Mason's Landing. So all of this stuff is effectively done. I mean, there's some industry work that needs to be done. There are a couple of little holes over here, and these connections obviously are left open. But this this functionally has not changed since the last time I messed with this, which, yeah, was several years ago at this point. I mean, I probably added more ocean tiles. If we want to look, I almost certainly added more ocean tiles. No, I didn't. I really should do that. This is not this is not enough ocean. That's got to be one of those things that gets done at some point. You know, I wonder if I could geoguessr myself in this town. Do you think I would recognize enough of the landmarks for it to be doable without moving? Like a no pan, no zoom, no move, no pan, no zoom uh, round in on the Tolbrynd Peninsula. Just expand it to the whole thing. But yeah, so this is the map. I've talked about next. Next, we have some options, but I've talked about closing this gap first. So through Bellington, through Appleton, through this unnamed town in Doe Cliff. So connecting this over the top. Another part of me wants to go this way towards Ravenbridge or this way towards Mansfield, but doing this first, at least, is probably the wisest choice. The narrow gauge, probably not, and this probably not until later. So it's probably going to be this, and then this will be done around 2030. That's pretty optimistic, I think. This will be done around 2030, and then we'll go this way. You know what's really going to be exciting is when they release the next trains. Oh right, there were other things that I wanted to look up. Oh, what did I tell you? I was reading New Vegas lore. Uh, words are escaping me. Okay, so we got Boston River Beach and Lynn here. That's a normal swing bridge. That is a bridge that has swung. If I can remember where it is, I can probably figure that out. Let's go to Google Maps. Over here, Boston River Beach and Lynn. I think it's got to be... Oh, wait, no, it's not on the BRB&L. That's right. No. Yes, no. No. I thought it was. Was it here? What river is this? Or tidal basin, or whatever it is. Yeah, because the next one would be up here, and I don't think the BRB&L made it up here. No, because they had a loop like around this area, and then Western Channel. I don't need the transit map. Oh, it's unavailable because we're in the water. No, it can't be that because that's too new. What is this body of water? It's unavailable. What? General Edwards Bridge. If I can find what... General Edwards Bridge. Saugus River. Hold on. No. No, that's not it. Okay, that's what it looks like now. I wish I could find the page that I was looking at previously. I think I'm not gonna find it. I think I'm screwed. Maybe it wasn't the Saugus River. Maybe it was something else. What else would it be? No, because everything's on this side of the water until you get to the airport, so... Unless it's over here? That doesn't make any sense. There's no evidence of anything from there. I'm going to have to do... This is going to annoy me because I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, there's the bridge that... Sluggish River Railroad Swing Bridge. There were only like 3 photos of it, and they were all bad. No. It mustn't have been the Saugus River then. I don't know. I don't know where, I'm confused on this bridge. And I'm starting to wonder if it was not, in fact, the BRB&L. Or the Saugus River. Which is frustrating. I don't think it was up here. No, because this is the Danvers River. I am stumped. And I want to keep looking for this, but I cannot. I really should get back to the thing that we came here to do. Which is not sift through Boston River Beach and Lynn pictures. As cool as they are. These are all Mason bogeys, by the way. Which is wild. Rotating. My Google foo has failed me. Alright, well, let's see. Everyone I assume is upset. What in the BRB&L? Remember that bridge that I was showing you when we were on our way up to Maine last time? That, like, swung around a pivot point that was not central to it. Boston Swing Bridge. This I'm only gonna get this one. I'm only gonna get the Northern Avenue Bridge because that's the famous one in Boston. That's not helpful. I don't want the Northern Avenue Bridge. I don't need it. It's a sad, rusty hulk. Leonard P. Zakem. No. I'm gonna find it one of these days. I don't know when or why. Actually, no, because we were on our way up the MBTA. And this is why I assume, like, this is why it might not have been BRB&L, right? If it was over here, no, it wouldn't have been the Mystic River Bridge. It wouldn't have been the Chelsea Creek Bridge, and I don't think it was this one either. It may have been. And where did we get off? We get off up way up there in Newburyport. Let me hold on. Danvers River Railroad Bridge. No, I don't think it was a Danvers River. Danvers River is too big and important, and it's standard gauge, which I cannot remember either way if it was standard gauge. Now I'm second guessing myself. Oh man. Oh, hello, something's leaving or arriving. It wasn't here. It wasn't in Ipswich. It wasn't that far north or south or whatever. I don't remember how I found it. I think I was looking, I must have been looking up like the Newburyport Rockport line or something like that and came across it. Because the BRB&L, you know, it was this, like from here up this way, if I remember right. And then it went that way. And then across here. Ah, it's gonna kill me. It's gonna kill me. Also, why will it not let me scroll all the way down on my chat anymore? Okay, well, that's enough sidetracks for the moment. I probably should get back to work on the railroad. So, if I can find that bridge, I will post it in the Tolbrynd Peninsula thread on the Discord. Looks like it is the one on the Saugus, but right next to the Edwards Bridge. If I could find a photo of it the way that it was, I would be happy. Because I would love to share it with everyone, because it is one of the most bizarre bridges I've ever seen. It's something that I've seen in model form, but never in real life, and I assumed that it didn't or couldn't exist in real life. Somebody write something in the chat, because I can't scroll down all the way anymore. I'm stuck at the top half of TJ's message. Okay. Oh, there we go. Where was the last place I left it? Thank you. Thank you, Train Game. Looking into it, says the TJ channel. Okay, and Mossy Monk says something, and it snapped us right back to where we need to be. Appreciate it. The last place I left it was probably in the river. Okay. And I can already feel my voice is starting to give out. I'm really trying, folks. In a van down by the river? There may be a van involved. But, yeah, no, it's gonna eat me up until I find a picture of it. It is. And I'm so annoyed because, like, maybe I should just go into my Google history and, like, search for bridge. I definitely cannot do that on stream. I mean, I don't think bridge will turn up anything nefarious, but I'm not incriminating myself, with anything that has been Googled in the last, like, month and a half. Okay. That's the asymmetric spline. I want the slightly larger spline. I want the spline that I have on here. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, I definitely messed with some settings, because now I can't see anything. There are no shadows for anything. Where's the I'd like to present my client's search history from this evening. I'd rather just confess to the murder. Okay. This can go here. Go here. Really not helping my case. Listen, I don't put my dumb Google searches on YouTube. I put them in my Google history where they reside for all time. It's like, I mean, you're welcome to skim the videos for some dirt. Go ahead, go watch some videos of mine. I'm not going to tell you not to. But it's just like the Google history is gonna be, how do I put this? Well, there's no small amount of things that are just straight embarrassing, like definition of extremely basic word. I do that plenty. But I'm not somebody who, you know, I'm the only person who uses this computer, right? And I'm I you know, a married man with nothing to prove. I don't clear my Google search history. Nothing to prove and nothing to hide. I don't clear my Google search history. Like, there's nothing genuinely incriminating, but there's plenty that's embarrassing. And there's more than plenty that I can't just put on YouTube. Um, Also, this ramp is... Do I like lower the ground over here now? Is this something that I do to create a little bit more terrain variation? Is just flatten this area out? Yeah, why not? It's just an Ellis looks up what the joke is behind iCup. iCup, the funniest joke in 587, The Great Train Robbery. That, and there's a dog driving that train. What a movie that is. We were talking about, some things from our childhood not too long ago, and like, you know, I saw somebody walking around the Big E train show with what was it? It was a Thomas VHS, if I remember right. And I was just thinking like, oh my god, I have all those at home. I also have a DVD copy of 587 The Great Train Robbery, a movie that is probably the worst movie that has made me cry. Um, because I'm just a sensitive little guy. Uh, and there's nothing wrong with that, of course. It's just I want to be crying at movies that are like really like good at doing the emotional punches and like well crafted films, and instead there's a dog driving this train and ICUP, and yet I'm still like, oh my god, they got the engine out of the scrapyard, they're gonna save it. Um, and I, you know, I have no excuse for this. But it's the same way that like I get uh, excited when they fire up the battleship in Battleship. Oh, there we go. Somebody reset the counter. I'm talking about Battleship again. Um, like it's a hype moment. It's there to like do things to you. It's not a good movie, but and Battleship is I think Battleship is like leagues better than 587 The Great Train Robbery, but that's mostly a function of the fact that 587 uses a lot of child actors, and kids are generally not great actors. That's not like it's not me dunking on kids. That it's just like acting is a real talent, and you need to work really hard to be good at it. And when you're 10 years old, you have not had that much time to do that. So, only movie that made me cry was Grown Ups 2 by Adam Sandler. Interesting. I haven't seen Grown Ups 2. I'm not really I'm not an Adam Sandler fan. I don't find him that funny. But I know those movies are beloved. Um, yeah, Battleship is a rule of cool. It's There should be more rule of cool in the world. I'd love to think that if we lived in a better in a better society, there would be more rule of cool and stuff. And that's the thing that I try to embody with the local games, of course. Um, but uh, I every time that I've watched football lately, there has been something that's made me go, like, okay, yeah, like that was against the rules, or that was clearly not a catch, or whatever. But I'm still sitting there going, like, they should have let him have it though. They should have allowed that. Because like one rule of cool per team per game, and you like spend a timeout to use it. That's that should be that should be that should be a thing. And maybe we're in the 21st century. You can vote now on your phones, right? They should be the coach calls a rule of cool, and everyone in the stadium has to vote on their phones whether they get it. Obviously, this would favor home games significantly. Real man only cried a nut job too, nutty by nature. Is that? I'm not gonna ask. Wow, that's a lot of nuts. Uh, okay. All right, we're gonna need to go back to Surveyor 2. Look at this though. We're doing terrain work. We're making a multi-level marketing scheme. No, a multi-level like area in the town. And this is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while, is incorporate more of the terrain variation into the build. Because things are not that, like, things aren't this flat in real life. I mean, in Kansas they are, but in general they aren't. And, like, that's not how life works, right? Like, that's not how ground works. Things are a little bumpy. Real men cry it to rule the world. Well, yeah, I'm crying because we never finished it. Everybody wants to rule the world. At least you can read the script now. It's in the archive. Okay. You can read the masterpiece that Weibold put together. I mean, it would have been great if we had actually been able to produce it. A lot of it was just the fact that it was technically challenging for us at the time, and that, love the guy to death. That was a problem with a lot of Weibold scripts. He is a better storyteller than I am, frankly, and I feel like it led him to sort of, put whatever he wanted to down on the page, because he wanted to tell a story, irrespective of whether or not we could actually accomplish that thing in Trainz. And that, I wouldn't be saying it if it didn't happen multiple times. But, there was, the Iron Horseman Chronicles was something that very much, a lot of us had a learning experience, bit off a huge chunk, more than we could chew. But I don't regret a single minute of it. Even the late nights and early mornings and like the 24-hour days to throw stuff together, I had a good time. And I'd like to think that I've made something that has had a sort of lasting impact on the trans community, because people still talk about it. I mean, what more can we ask for than to leave our imprint on the world? And that's how I did it, and that's how we did it. We being the Iron Horsemen. Okay. This can go here. I'm going to add like a loop at the end here, I guess. I don't really know what this should look like. I wanted to add maybe like a cul-de-sac. That's a big circle. That's not really what I'm aiming for. I don't know what I'm aiming for, if I'm honest. Yeah, no, okay, we're not going to do a circle. Circle here doesn't make a lot of sense. What I'll do is I will extend this to here, and then I will add, actually what I'll do is I will extend it, I'll extend it that way, but I will include a thing on one side. There we go. And that way I can put some concrete on this side. Let's go find that texture. Or maybe we can use Feld 9. That almost looks right. It doesn't, but it almost does. Dark dusty gravel is not really what I want. Dark asphalt. I need something that's like pavement, but that lines up with the macadam. Or, actually, better idea, we can watch ourselves. This is what I want. I don't need texture. I can't do that. It's the wrong color. Damn it. Tell me there's one without edges. Come on. Tell me there's one without edges that looks correct. Without sidewalks is the word I'm looking for. No. No, they're not. Oh my god. Okay, why though? Why is it this color instead of that color? And why do the 38 footers all have thing? Wait. No. Oh. I downloaded all of these. How am I missing stuff like this? Alright, well, whatever. We're going to have to do this then. We're just going to have to put 2 of these side by each. And call this a parking lot, sort of. And we were doing good with the injury board too, and now it's reset to 0. Okay. Gabe Almighty the movie is coming to theaters in 2017. I mean, Gabe was quite a character to write for. And I can talk about the experiences writing for all these characters. Some of them were a lot harder than others. But really, some of them were a lot easier than others. Characters that were a little bit more one note, a little bit more comedic, I had a lot of easier of a time writing for them. But the characters that I knew very well, I had a lot easier time writing for them. I would try to get into character with all the characters I was actively writing with. And what came down on the page would sometimes not be what I expected. But it would come out and I would say, oh yeah, I guess the character would do that. And that's why you should always endeavor to know your characters as much as possible when you go to write anything. Because if you can get all the way into character to the point where that's where you're in their headspace, or they're in your headspace, or vice versa, whatever you want to call it, your interactions will appear more genuine. And sometimes you'll have these brilliant moments where your character just did that. Which is sort of it's not really a reference to, but is something that comes up in Asteroid City a little bit. It's one of the major plot points. The Wes Anderson film Asteroid City, which is certainly one of my favorites of his. There's a scene where the protagonist, in a fit of like stress and anxiety, burns his hand on a little, like a hot plate. And he goes and asks the director, why do I do that? And the director says, I don't know. I was writing it and he just did that. As in, I was writing down things on the page and that's what came out onto the page. It just seemed like the right thing for the character to do in the moment. And when you have those moments and they feel genuine, like you have those moments and as a consequence, your character's actions can feel quite genuine because they aren't contrived. They are just what happened. You move on from crafting a story to properly telling one. That's maybe one way to put it anyway. And I appreciate the compliment about the dialogue is some of the best that we've gotten. I've definitely gotten worse at a lot of things over my writing career, if you can call it a career, writing hobby. But I'd like to think that I've always been quite good at dialogue. Which is why I found myself more at home writing scripts than anything else, and why I had an easier time writing the Housatonic than I have rewriting it, because I decided I would do the smart thing and make an outline first, and that means sort of writing down everything that happens in prose, in narration, sort of, and uh, not in conversation. Okay, this can go here. I'm annoyed that I wasn't able to find that bridge. Unfortunately, you didn't make Heber the main character, so you don't get the official Breen Award. We were gonna have a Heber episode. Um, we Heber was going to be significant in that he was going to be a character who retired, if you catch my drift. It was going to be the first time in the series, like, he was going to be the first character to go through with retirement, um, and die, like, voluntarily die. Uh, and like, that was going to be a big moment, and it was going to be something that, like, just to say it like connected to a whole bunch of stuff would be inaccurate, but it was sort of to set the tone a little bit for, like, hey, this is how this is going to go. um and it's something that I call back to, which I'm not sure if it counts as a callback, but in the Iron Horseman Chronicles, the motion picture, the novel, the book that I've been writing for a zillion years now, that'll be done about when Tolbrynd gets done. It's something I call back to right away in a conversation with Nick, when Nick does the same thing. He says, you know what, I'm tired. I don't really feel like doing this anymore. I've had a life that is longer than most locomotives. I don't really care what else is left for me. This, like, I made my stand. I lived out my life. I lived on the Iron Horseman Railroad. I dedicated 50 years to it. And that's all I could ask for out of life. And that's a really somber thing. And that's something that I always wanted to do, or something that I was always sort of aiming for, with the Chronicles, is that I didn't want it to be a kids show. That isn't to say I didn't want it to be approachable for children, or, to be, like, fun, right? And there was nothing wrong with that. And we had plenty of fun episodes and funny episodes, but I didn't want to avoid topics which might be difficult just because, um, just because it's a Trainz machinima, just because of the medium, right? Okay, sorry, I messed up these spline points here. It's been a while, but I definitely should go back and look at some of those episodes. And, sometimes we were preachy and chaotic, but, what are you gonna do? I know people who use subtlety, and they're all cowards, or however that quote goes. Okay. This is a big triangle. It's a big triangle, and it's almost sort of vaguely triangular. Well, it's triangular with some other stuff attached. I don't know what I want to put in this block here. And I put this little park over here, but we definitely need more in the way of parks. And in fact, I might even put one sort of on the other side of the tracks here, just in the open space. Which would be really a choice for the city to say, oh, we'll put the park over here because this is, the wrong side of the tracks, as it were. But you take what you can get, right? I think that there is something to be said that a lot of Trainz series kind of lack that seriousness, or at least that level of thinking it through. Now, this is a story that I've told before, but I'll tell the abridged version, which is to bring up my co-writer again. Weibold and I don't think we fought as much as we did when it came down to the realism in the series. And it's because I was always adamant that we had to do things that were like we had to keep things in the realm of physical possibility when it came to where the trains were and their orientation and stuff, which is such a dumb hill to die on, but I still will die on it. Uh, which is that like for example, there was an episode where Sally goes down to the docks, and she pulls in, and then some stuff happens, and she pulls back out again, and we had an argument about basically which way she should face in a scene. I think it was, and my argument was, well, she would have had to go around the balloon. That's the only way that the train would have been facing this way. If you know the layout of Davenport, there is the only one way to turn a train around. Um, and I was like, that's it. Just it has to be like that. Like there's no two ways about it. There's no way she would have been facing the other direction. Um, and you know, and I was adamant about this, and the response was like, "But the scene is better if she's facing this way." You know, I want her facing, I guess, she pull in, back around. I want her facing north. He wanted her facing south. Or no, I want her facing east. He wanted her facing west. And it's just like, it was the dumbest hill. It was the dumbest argument. It was so, like, small and petty. But to him, the storyteller, getting the shot correct was far more important than, to me, the world builder trying to get the shot to be physically possible. It's the kind of thing that no other Trainz series gives a damn about. And honestly, like, what is, and I know people have investigated this, and I know that like the Thomas Railroad, like when I say the Thomas Railroad, I don't mean like the fictitious island of Sodor. I mean like the physical model railroad. Obviously, I would expect that people know what those track arrangements were like, and thus can extrapolate it to what the track arrangements on Sodor must be like. But I'm sure there are times when the engines are facing a certain direction out of convenience, because it makes sense for the scene to have them like this instead of like this, right? And I wouldn't let us get away with that. And it was so, oh man, why? That's just me, I guess. Oh, what the hell? Oh man. All right, well, whatever. I guess we'll do it. Sidewalks on both sides for the moment. Bunch of diagrams drawn by Wilbur got released showing the yard plans. Yeah, see, and it helps because that was a physical thing. Like they built the model railroad, at least in the pre-CGI days. I don't know how it stacks up to the CGI days. I know there's plenty of gripes about the CGI. I have no dog in this race. I don't really care. Yeah, and the advantage of having a train set that's fully done is that you don't have to worry about directions and logic. Yeah, well, because it's there in front of you, right? It is like, oh, to get from here to here, Sally would have to do this. You can see it. You're looking at it. Whereas if we just had sets, which originally we were just going to have sets, and I was like, no, we need to build a route. We need to build a route, and I'm going to divvy up all this work between all these people, and then we will have, like, everything will make sense. If we're talking TV, the main shed changes within seasons. But aren't we getting a Thomas game now that has the whole island of Sodor? I thought I just saw something about that hit like Terminus News or whatever. That's really fascinating. Like, again, I am not a Thomas fanatic by any stretch of the imagination. I've got the VHS tapes. I haven't watched them in years. I don't think I can go back and watch them because I might accidentally put on Toby and the Dam and get scared to death. The most terrifying thing as a child for me was Toby and the Dam, uh, which wasn't helped by the fact that Toby was my G, uh, my real one. Toby and Edward were the best, and James was the worst. James is a prick. We hate James. If James has no haters, I'm dead. I'm just gonna say that right now. Um, okay. Based on the giant physical map Audrey commissioned back in the 50s. Oh, that's so perfect that it's actually got the lineage. It's like, because people make models of the inside of the Starship Enterprise, right? Like, people are like, oh, this needs to be here, this needs to be here, this needs to be here, based on this, this, and this. And so that means these spaces have to be filled in like this, and the Word of God says these are like this, and you know, it's like Galaxy Quest. We built the spaceship based on what we saw on the TV show, and it's complete nonsense. Uh, uh, but that's what's in the show, so that's what it has to be. Um, have I seen the new episode of Starfleet Academy? I haven't watched Starfleet Academy yet. I haven't even caught up with Strange New Worlds. I don't think I finished season 3. I have been focusing on other things, other shows. Um, I've been super busy, and also I've been watching. I was watching Strange New Worlds with Gloria, so it meant we both had to have free time and also the desire to watch TV. And when we spend a lot of our time just like playing Minecraft or Fallout or something, we don't get in front of the TV and do nothing. Um, okay, this is gonna look goofy, but whatever. Um, oh, you both got to meet Uhura. That's awesome. Uh, yeah, no, Strange New Worlds is a great show. I honestly, they did a great job with that show. Um, and it really does seem like it's gotten a lot of praise and absolutely deserves it. Uh, it's just very good Star Trek. It has some issues, but what doesn't? Star Trek as a franchise is 60 years old. Uh, so whatever, gotta crack a few eggs or something. Meanwhile, the Fallout show, right? The Fallout show is, um, yeah. Feel free to send the photo of the autograph. I'd love to see it. Um, the Fallout show is bending over backwards not to crack any eggs. Something that I also quite respect. I'm not going to. I'm not one of the people, mostly because I never got around to playing New Vegas. I'm not one of the people who's very upset about the fact that it seems like the courier affected nothing in the long run. 15 years is quite a while in the wasteland, I would imagine, and the fact that you can go through the game and do kind of whatever, and then at the end, it still leads into the show. I think they've done a really expert job of dancing around any continuity issues and paying lip service for to enough of the things. Um, Personally, like to think a certain sniper ranger is the courier. I Wouldn't that be great? There was a whole breakdown I was just reading. You know what? I'll hold on. I'm gonna I'm gonna throw this in media. Yes, it was Mystic River Draw number 7. Yes, yes, TJ. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull that up too. Hold on. Let me post this because I still have it open. I'm gonna put this in. I'm gonna put this in the foam pit just for everybody, I guess. Um, and let me pull up Mystic River Draw number 7. Which, let me see if I can remember where that is first. If I can pull up the correct set of windows here. It does make sense to a nihilistic view of the wasteland. That's a very good point. Yeah, okay, it was Mystic River Draw number 7, which would not have been Boston River Beach and Lynn. Okay, whoopsies. Um, oh yeah, and you know what? I was even looking in the right spot earlier. So, let me open this. Uh, oh, never mind. You already got the spot figured out. Hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right there. So, sharing screen. Mystic River right here. So it was not Boston River Beach and Lynn. It was standard gauge. Mystic River draw number 7 is this, which you can actually see. That's really interesting. You can see the Prudential in the, I assume, Hancock Tower in the background, which means this thing lasted longer than one might expect. Uh, this is a swinging drawbridge. This piece goes like that. It rotates around the corner here, and it just swings that way. It tucks into here. Because, why not? Uh, it's craziness. It's crazy. It's weird and wild. Oh, okay. Sorry. No, it would have been right here. It would have been right here because you can see this curve. So it's not here. It's here. Yeah, because you can see this is this was, well, now it's double track again, but this was down to single. I assume it had to be here and not there. You know what? I bet I could. Actually, no. Let's go to the cooler one. Not WAP Junction. WAP Junction. Heyo. Going to WAP Junction. No, no, thanks. I don't need to know that. Thank you. I don't. I've been here before. Thank you. Google Hybrid is there, and then let's see. Let's go back to 1962 aerial. Yeah, there it is. Oh, that's when it had 2 tracks. 69 aerial? No, I guess that doesn't have coverage in this area. 1983. There it is. And it's even swung open. Partially. It looks like it's being just like folded. 78 Boston Metro aerial. Okay, yeah, then it has the 1. Or did it, is it doing something that I... Come on, load, damn you. Oh, it had another bridge next to it at one point. That's wild. I need a... Oh, yeah, there you go. I was going to say, I need a photo of it swinging to prove that it does swing and not raise. And then there's the new bridge being built in the background. Look at that. So, that's pretty sick. And it's such a sketchy bridge design. Look at these are all on pivots too, because it did like italicize as it moved out of the way. That's so insane. It's one of the craziest drawbridges I've ever heard of. It shouldn't be physically possible. So it was in the last place I left it. Digital swinging mechanism, I guess, until 1985. I am going to take a look in media at these autographs really quick. Oh, that's awesome! That's so cool. Is that Kate Mulgrew at the top? Hell yeah. I have a lot of formative memories of watching Star Trek Voyager. Anyway, it's 9:22. 9:22. We need to keep working here. Oh, you got Tuvok? I didn't see Tuvok's signature in there. That's awesome. Remember when Janeway killed Tuvix? Yes. That's cool that he was in there. And also, wasn't he, like after the fact slipped into Star Trek 6? Or, like, there's a flashback scene with him in Voyager that wasn't actually there, or, like, it's an extended cut of the real one, which is really funny. I really love it when Star Trek does the, oh, we're going back to a previous installment of the franchise, and we're just gonna, like, seamlessly splice it into what we're currently doing. It's really good at that. Like, I feel like there are plenty of franchises where you could absolutely get away with that, but there are few where they can really pull it off. And Star Trek has done it multiple times. Okay. It's 9:22. Do you know where your kids are? Okay, I need another way out of here, I think. Hopefully all 24 are still in my basement. Yikes, careful. Don't be saying that out loud, they'll elect you. Okay, I think just like a path through here, like a concrete path through here. To here, to here. I didn't really want to cut the dorm buildings, whatever these are, the dorm village, the dormitory village. I didn't really want to cut them in half, but here we are. I guess we were gonna have to do that anyway. I'm trying to think about the really awkward arrangement that existed to, like, unload stuff at my dorm. Like, the way in was so, like, it felt like you were doing something illegal to unload your stuff at the dorm that I lived in for 3 years in school. Okay. Let's pull this up to here. I've never gone to, like, a Comic-Con. And I know that on some level I'm missing out. I just don't feel like it. I'm too much of a homebody. I don't touch grass enough. It's expensive to go outside. It's cheap to stay in here. Oh, excuse me. Speaking of knowing where my kids are, I know where my son is. Or at least one of them. Gonna try and bring one of those LiDAR scans into Trainz. Hell yeah. Good luck. Okay, this is, we're gonna have to flatten this out a little bit, I think. Well, we'll flatten out the end down here. And then, oh shoot. I also want to flatten out the top, I guess. Like here? Here? Dax definitely loved hearing me nerd about her character and how much I love her acting in TS9. Hey, that's what they're there for, right? Anyway, this makes me want to rewatch Galaxy Quest. Just the extremely, like, honest the honest portrayals of the actors just, like, being over it. Okay. We're definitely making some headway over here. It's only going to take us like 10 hours to build this campus with all the detours and distractions. Tyler just sent me something. All right, that's fantastic. Hold on, where's the? Okay. Sorry, I needed to find a meme. Oh sweet, we got a whole bunch of. Oh, Pat put in GeoGuessr. I'm in for GeoGuessr. I was just thinking about when are we gonna do GeoGuessr again. Yeah, I'd like to think that if you're doing cons after this many years, you're doing it because you really want to do it, right? Uh, because if you don't want to do it, stop showing up. You know, uh, nobody's making you. I mean, I'm sure there are people who are doing it for the money. I don't know how much people get paid to do appearances at cons, but I can't imagine it's that much. Um, I mean, if maybe there are people that charge $1 zillion for their autograph. You got to meet Shatner. Holy crap! Um, that dude is almost 100 years old, isn't he? He. It's kind of incredible. I can't believe he's still kicking sometimes. He's still alive, right? It'd be unfortunate if I forgot that he died. No, I feel like I would remember if he died. Okay. Joke's on you, their landlords are. Okay, this can go here. He was amazing to talk to. Oh, that's sweet. Because Shatner has such a reputation for being like a curmudgeonly son of a gun, or like hogging the spotlight or whatever. I Shatner's like human person reputation and his character reputation are both seemingly pretty off base. Uh, like I'm not saying that he definitely was not a jerk to anyone on set. He was the leading man in a major television production that kind of comes with the territory. Uh, but he seems like someone who has gotten over himself if that was a thing that he had to do. My brain has been poisoned by the Guys podcast because it's a running joke that classic rock guys call every musician they meet down to earth. Oh no. Oh no, TJ. Okay. What do I probably put another parking lot back here, right? That's got to be what goes back here. This is the student parking that you like pay $1 million for. It's also, I mean, it is the 50s. Having student parking is less important than it is now. And also, I don't know how many people are coming to uh, BSU. What was it? Bellington something University. Bellington Standard University, BSU. Um, hold on. I've seen Shats. Don't call him that. Uh, his Twitter post of late, he's not a perfect person. Personable when he needs to be. Um, all right, we named the college. It should be the thing I do last. Like, the thing you should do last when you're writing a book is adding a title. The thing you should do last when you're building a college campus in Trainz is naming the campus. Um, can I fit 4 rows of parking in here? I'm not sure if I can. Oh, we'll find out. And in fact, I'm probably going to need a chain link fence. Is this an okay? He really just spam tweets. This is crazy. Yeah, I'll go back to he's also like a zillion years old. It's just I think it's a social old people on social media problem. Not saying he's blameless, of course, but I'm saying there's a pattern. Get Grandpa off of Facebook. Okay. But also, I'm not touching Twitter. Uh, Hello from Five Guys, Ellis. I'm on break. I'm eating a cheese dog and a small fry. I hope you're enjoying your cheese dog and small fry. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna need to add a retaining wall here. Yeah, I'm gonna need to add a retaining wall for sure. Okay, let's fill in this. Once again, we've got some terrain going on. We've got some intrigue, as one might say. And I don't want to totally bury this road, but I'm gonna have to. Oh, shoot, I found the middle. I don't want to raise the whole thing, because that would create more problems than it would solve. Oh, I just noticed these houses are underground. Well, now they're not. Well, what are we gonna do about this? Um, hmm. If I flatten this out, so now what am I supposed to post tomorrow night? William Shatner. If I flatten this out, and then I put the roads back on the ground, I guess. It's not really a thing I want to be doing. All right. What I really loved talking to Major Kira is getting to hear about her finding out she was going to be on Lower Decks and how she absolutely jumped at the chance because she loves Star Trek. I know. Lower Decks really seems to have brought out the best in everyone. Like, I'm so sad that it's gone. I'm so sad that it's gone because it was so good. It was really funny and it was true to the lore and it was, you know, like good science fiction beyond anything else, and good Star Trek. Like, there's literally nothing more I could ask for from a Star Trek show. Lower Decks was great. Yeah, the Tom Paris jokes I had to look up because I didn't really watch. What was Locarno in? Locarno showed up in what? Next Generation? I can't remember. Yeah, Next Generation. I was never a huge fan of Next Generation. I don't dislike it by any means, and I certainly don't, dislike Shatner or Shatner, Picard or uh, Picard's actor whose name is escaping me. Uh, I I keep picturing him, and my brain just keeps saying Jean-Luc Picard. That's just who he is in my head. Uh, no, um, but you know, yeah, I don't know. I was never a huge Next Generation fan. I think so. My exposure to Deep Space Nine and Voyager was at a friend's house. Um, his mom was a huge Star Trek fan, and he grew up to be a Star Trek fan too, as you do. But like, my dad had, I think it was VHS tapes of Star Trek: The Original Series. It might have been DVDs. And so I remember watching those with him, and then I would go over to my friend's house, and uh, I would watch Deep Space Nine and Voyager because that's what they had, that's what they liked, that's what they were watching, um, and you know, and I got exposed to that, but I kind of missed the boat on Next Generation a little bit. I watched some of Next Generation. I watched a lot of Deep Space Nine and Voyager. Um, okay, we're gonna have to do something like this. And I mean, Deep Space Nine was probably my favorite for a while. I can't remember exactly, but in that era, it was probably my favorite. I also watched. I can't remember who I watched Star Trek Enterprise with, but I watched a lot of Star Trek Enterprise. Um, It's been a long road getting from there to here. That's all I have to say about Star Trek Enterprise. Um, what is going on with this road? That's not good. No, it's not supposed to look like that. Oh, hell. Lift this end up just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That's acceptable. Can we talk about the bald lady in Star Trek the Motion Picture that Vedra kidnaps? I like to call her all head since she ain't got no forehead. God damn! Damn. I watched Star Trek. That Star Trek the Motion Picture is another one I watched at this friend's house. And I watched it once then when I was in probably like middle school, and I have not seen it since. I just have not been inclined to go seek it out. Undiscovered Country, on the other hand, I bought the moment I saw it at Savers, and I have watched it twice since. Undiscovered Country is the best Star Trek movie, and I know that is not really a hot take, but Orion says I'm getting ready to move states, probably later this year or this time next year. Shoot, where are you going? That's a big deal. All right, I need a retaining wall back here. Control Shift F. See, I'm doing like actual civil engineering, right? I'm sitting here and I'm doing civil engineering. Oh shoot, it's a corner. Yeah, what the hell? I'll take the corner. Um, oh, okay. Are we like on the seaside? What is this? Um, Down by the seaside. Great Led Zeppelin song. Um, I need to get this up at the right level without making it look super obnoxious. Come on. Like that, maybe. Um, okay. What am I doing here? What am I doing wrong? Something. The only thing I remember about Star Trek the Motion Picture is Vija requires the information. And it's because it became like a vocal stim between myself and my friend's family. Which I know I'm like, I keep saying my friend's family. I don't know why. I feel like I'm being coy or like there's a reason for me to be coy. Uh, my friend is Ian. He played Blount on the Iron Horseman Chronicles. Uh, the person I watched all the Star Trek, the big Star Trek fan is his mom. She played Sandy on the Iron Horseman Chronicles. Hi, East. Hi to Bender and Taki. And someone else I don't know. Hello, someone else I don't know. I'd love to meet you someday. What's with the rail cam? So, okay, so last episode, we got like 2/3 of the way through the episode, and I didn't understand what people had been saying in the comments, that they could hear diesel rumbling in the background. And well, first of all, the quick answer is it's like Subway servers. It's for engagement bait, or it's for engagement. But no, we made it all the way through, like 2/3 of the way through the last episode of of Under Construction of the Tolbrynd project, and uh, and somebody pointed out, like, finally, that uh, that I realized that what people were saying was that there were diesel engine sounds in the background of the show. And I thought it was OpenTTD, but of course it wouldn't be OpenTTD because it was 1855. And I realized I still had the stream in the background of OBS from the podcast. And even if it's hidden, it's not muted. I have to mute it separately. So people were hearing this the whole time, and then I finally realized what was happening and got rid of it, and the response was, oh, I was kind of enjoying the diesel sounds in the background. And so I figured, when I came back here, I there was conversation about whether I should put it back, and I decided, why not? I'll put it back. I mean, it's taking up more space than my head, which, for better or for worse, I guess. Um, we did talk about going to get an ASMR, like a specific ASMR diesel background, instead of just doing the rail cam. Hi, Mew. But this is what I just went back to the Connecticut rail cam because why not? Is he visible? He's freaking out back there. Bankman, are you hungry? Yeah, yeah. He's hungry. His feeder's going off soon. Um, make your background transparent and make the rail cam your background. Hmm. Call Bender out. I have a rail cam for engagement bait. Subway Surfers wasn't doing it for me. Okay. This parking lot is not parallel. The edges of the parking lot are not parallel. Less than ideal. Um, well, what's funny is in real life when you have to fit a parking lot into a weird space, you just kind of do it. Um, did I accidentally make a second one? No. Okay. Green screen mask your background. Yeah, I don't know how to do. I need to. Yeah, let me hang a sheet behind me. Listen, if Microsoft Teams can figure out how to like replace my background with a Halo ring every time I'm on a work call, I can probably get like OBS should be able to do that, right? Why are parts of the stream censored? Because I'm afraid of all the dirt people are going to be able to dig up on me, apparently. Uh, we won't see Lafayette and Venkman. That's true. That's true. The most important part of the Big E. Oh, why are parts of the rail cam censored? Because those are where the lights are, and so if they didn't cover those lights, the camera would just be totally blown out by them. That is my assumption anyway. This grass almost matches this grass. Actually, does this match it better? No. Yeah. Uh, this? No. This is maybe our best bet. Um, the shocking fact about LLC has a creeper boxcar. I got that creeper boxcar. I got sent it by a fan. That fan's name was Brett Weewold. Way back in the day. In case it was missed, I'm looking to move to rural Alabama and not across the street from a 50 train main line. Yikes. Yeah, like Minecraft creeper boxcar. You know what? It has been outside at my desk for so long that it hasn't been in here for a while, and for once I'm not like in pajamas to do the stream, so I will get up, go over there, and get it out of the container to show everyone. We'll do a little show and tell to end the stream. Hi, Bankman. Hi, Bankman. Come on. It's a poorly designed case, but I got it for free, so I can't really complain. Okay. Where's big webcam? There it is. Oh, it's behind everything. That's not the way that it should be. Big webcam should be in front of everything. There we go. Hi, Finkman. So this is the boxcar. Tamaros Freight Company boxcar. This has not been to the Providence Northern in a very long time, but I used to bring it because it was one of the only pieces of equipment that I had. It is otherwise just a normal 50-foot boxcar with the green paint, green paint, silver door, creeper face. It's reminiscent of the boxcars that I had that were made for me for locomotion by, I believe, Plastic Man. So, speaking of which, Open Locomotion keeps getting new updates, so that's pretty cool. I'm gonna go put this back in the case now before I forget it and leave it out here. Yeah, no, I'm Bender. I'm glad you noticed the sign. Um, the sign, I because that because that was a gift from you, like, and I'm meaning the broad you, but also you specifically. I was like, that has to go behind me. Uh, there we go. Okay. Do all the old locomotion mods work with Open Loco? Actually, I have no idea. I'm going to assume no. Oh, like, I would assume no, but I wouldn't be overly surprised if the answer is yes, because really, they're just modifying like the list of object data files, right? Um, the old Micah, the 1812 Overture with the TNT cannons, hell yeah. One of the things that was born out of warships because of the TNT cannons, doing TNT cannon design. Maybe like, oh shoot, can I build a vertical TNT cannon? And then that became the intro. Um, okay. All right. Well, we have grass. Yippee. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this area really. But we're getting there. We're definitely getting there in terms of what this place is gonna look like when it's done. Oh, that's the same gravel that I've been using. We definitely need another. We definitely need another big park somewhere. Probably with like a running track, like a half-mile running track. Where I grew up, there was a pretty good-sized park across the way that had a half-mile track, and I remember going there with school or with family or whatever, um, and it was a lot less boring than going to like a regular track. Oh shoot, this isn't even the type of grass that I've been using. Oh, I grabbed the wrong kind of grass because I thought this was the good grass because it blended in so well. Oh, well, whatever. You know what? That's good. Um, if I may do a hot take Ohio for a sec, and this is only one of the many reasons why I looked at Alabama. Ohio was so boring that there are no battleship memorial in Ohio. Alabama has a whole ship. Hey, listen, if you're looking at places that have got a battleship, look no further than good old Fall River, Massachusetts. Um, yeah, damn it, Mew. My brain cell. Beautiful Fall River. Uh, Listen, it's the easy thought when you think about battleships. Uh, one of uh, one of my friends, one of the folks on the server, the Minecraft server in specific, used to live in Fall River, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I used to go to Battleship Cove all the time." I was a little jealous, because damn, that place is cool. Also, the USS New Jersey in New Jersey. Yes, I actually I went to see New Jersey when it was in Philly, which was kind of fun. Or when it was yeah, when it was in Philly, right? Because it went. Oh, what have we got on the camera? Holy crap! Oh, we've got a freight train. Yeah. Um, I want to take the curator's tour. Is that the one that's like Ryan takes you around? That is not Woda. There is no more Woda. Woda is dead. Long live Woda. Wovuf. Long live Wovuf. Hi, Bender. Okay. We're almost wrapped up here. I probably should wrap up like a minute early so that I can make sure the dog and the cat eat the food that belongs to them. Never mind. Gloria has appeared to hopefully moderate that exchange.
What?
Uh, I was about to say I should wrap up a little bit earlier to make sure the dog eats the dog food and the cat eats the cat food instead of the other way around. Venkman is really excited to eat some cat food. He's very hungry.
Oh, that's why you were grumbling.
What, Lafayette grumbling?
Yeah,
Yeah, because he's hungry. I want to go back to Star Trek for a second and say how awesome it is that Jonathan Frakes has been like directing and writing no small part of Star Trek stuff, because he's hilarious and he's great at making more Star Trek. It's not the ascendancy that I expected from Riker, but I'm 100% here for it. Riker. I still need to finish getting through Stargate with Gloria before we get more Stargate. A sentence that I did not think I would be uttering at any point in my life. Oh. Orion, you lived in South Dakota? South Dakota and then Ohio and then Alabama. You're a friggin' national traveler. That's crazy. I've, aside from being at college, I have never lived outside of Rhode Island. I mean, I don't think it's super unusual for people to never, like, live outside the state they grew up in, but when that state is the size of a postage stamp, it's a little bit more unusual. It's compensated by the fact that Rhode Islanders just don't ever want to go anywhere. Um, we're human salmon. We always come back to our spawning ground, and like there's a singular disinterest in things outside of Rhode Island for your average Rhode Islander. Um, okay. We're almost done here. BSU is coming along beautifully. Honestly, it is starting to feel pretty good now, and this is going to be a big chunk of land that we take care of. I have no idea what's going to go in here. Probably more suburbs, which I'm so excited to make. But you know, I can't win them all. Excuse me. Excuse me. Goodness. Let's just look longingly at our beautiful catastrophe of a yard setup over here. Love this. Um, Riker helps shape the universe he used to live in. I love Q. And I love hearing, what is it, John DeLacy? Is DeLacy? Delancey? DeLacy, right? I love hearing his voice and everything. Oh no, Mew, you've given me another reason. This is not a thing that I wanted you to do to me. Uh, John DeLancey. He voice acts in XCOM 2. I've got to do it. I've got to play. I've got to do it. The universe is telling me that it's time. Damn my open TTD company.
And I'm telling you,
Damn,
it's not time.
damn my my quest for legendaries in Fallout 76. It's time to kill some A Lamaus. That's XCOM, baby. Listen, if I start playing another XCOM save, just take heart that it was a 95% chance that I wouldn't do that.
Okay, go eat your dinner. Come on. Go eat your dinner.
That's XCOM, baby.